you may have noticed when you entered the room today that the room has been labeled. Up here in the front of the room, we have the label active. And back here in the back of the room, we have the label thoughtful. Thoughtful and active, they're very different. So if you are the kind of person that considers yourself a person who is active, and let's say you go to work in the morning and there's a meeting taking place and you walk into the room where the meeting is, before you know it, you have entered the conversation. You don't think about entering the conversation, it just happens. It's very automatic. Whereas if you see yourself as more thoughtful kind of person, you walk into that same meeting and you probably sit down and take some time to really study and listen to what's taking place and decide very carefully and thoughtfully to enter that conversation if you choose to enter it at all. Very, very different. So if you see yourself as an active kind of person, you probably see yourself as being very fast-paced, a little more assertive, bold, dynamic. Whereas if you see yourself as a thoughtful kind of person, you'd see yourself as being more moderately paced or more thoughtfully paced, calm, methodical, and careful. So I'd like to invite you to stand up and move to one end of the room or the other.
Wouldn't it be funny if we were different?
Instead of waiting, Jane stands alone.
That goes without saying.
Okay, so little difference here in the room, as we can see, a little difference. What I'd also like to point out to you is that we also have the sides of the room labeled. Over here, for example, on this side of the room, we have the label accepting. And over here on this side of the room, we have the label questioning. Questioning and accepting. Thank you. Questioning and accepting. So let's think about that same meeting. So if you see yourself as a questioning kind of person and you walk into that room, you are probably, listening to what's being said, but you're really weighing what people are saying and thinking to yourself, do they really have their facts? Do they really, really research this? Where are they coming from? What are they basing their conclusions on? You have more questions. You're more skeptical. Whereas if you see yourself as more accepting, it's not a matter of whether or not you agree with what's being said or not. It's just all very interesting. You just want to hear all of those different viewpoints, and you're very open and interested in what people have to say. So over here, you're more focused on the task, what's being said, is that right? A little skeptical, questioning going on. Over here, you're more focused on the people, and you're just really open and interested. So once again, if you would move to one side of the room or the other. Okay, now, so far we've moved to two different sides of the room based on how we answered those two questions. Wouldn't it be interesting to see what it would look like if we got together with the people who answered the questions the same way we did? So, if you see yourself, this isn't moving at all. Well, just click. So, if you see yourself as active and questioning, I'd like to invite you to come to this corner of the room. Active and accepting will come over here. Accepting and thoughtful, this corner of the room, and thoughtful and questioning will gather right here. Okay, we're done.